To figure out the number of distinct hydrogen in this molecule, I'm going to draw the structure and include hydrogens in my formula. So a partially condensed type structure. CH2, we have an O, C double bond O, CH2, 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 and finally a CH3. So now, as we go through, we want to identify the distinct types of hydrogen. And I'm going to start with the left end, and we have these three hydrogen. Those are indistinguishable from one another. So that's going to be hydrogen type A. Then we get to the CH2. Well, this is different than the CH3, so that's going to be type B. But the two hydrogen on that carbon are equivalent. Now we have an oxygen, a carbon, and then we have a CH2. Now sometimes people will mistakenly think, well, that should be B like this because they're both CH2s. But they're in different environments. And in fact, I can distinguish those verbally just by saying the CH2 bonded to the carbonyl versus the CH2 bonded to the oxygen. Those are in different environments. Those are different types of CH2 groups. So that'll be type C. Next, we go on to another CH2. That's going to be type D. And you can distinguish that from this one by saying this CH2 is just one carbon away from the carbonyl. This CH2 is two carbons away. They're in different environments. We come down to the next CH2, that is E. And then finally, the CH3 is type F. It's different than this CH3 because there's not symmetry. This CH3 is two atoms away from an oxygen. This CH3, if you want to count from that oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So they are distinct. That means this compound has 6 different types of hydrogens. Now let's look at the carbons, and we'll just work from our original structure up here. Now you don't care about the hydrogen, but look at the carbons. So we have the CH3 carbon here. I'll make that A. We have a CH2 carbon. That's B. They're both carbons, but they're in different environments. One's closer to the oxygen than the other. Right? Now don't forget about this carbon. It doesn't have any hydrogen, so we didn't even look at it down here. But in terms of carbon, it is a distinct type of carbon. So that would be C. This CH2D. This CH2 carbon, E. This CH2 carbon will be F. And then the CH3 will be G. So this has 7 distinct types of carbon.